Good evening. Toronto police are investigating two incidents where people were shot in the early morning hours.
In one incident, a man was shot in the leg on King Street. In another, a man walked into hospital in North York with gunshot wounds, and he has since died. CTV's Sean Leathong reports.
A woman's shoe lay on the sidewalk outside a King Street bar. Evidence markers showing some shell casings in the area where police found one man suffering from a gunshot wound to the leg this morning.
Members of emergency services arrived. The male was subsequently transported to a local hospital to be treated for his injuries.
Police saying the injuries were serious but non-life-threatening. According to police, shots rang out on King Street West at 4:45 this morning, just west of Spadina.
We received numerous calls from witnesses advising of multiple gunshots being heard and a male being shot.
Police say this busy area of King Street had multiple people here when the shooting took place. Some 45 minutes after this incident, another person arrived at a hospital in North York suffering from gunshot wounds and subsequently died. Police would not say if the two are related.
Right now, there's no indication whatsoever that would connect either of the two scenes or locations. If at some point in time that does change, then our members from our Homicide and Missing Persons Unit will update the media accordingly.
The large number of evidence markers suggest several shell casings. Police would not say if more than one firearm was used during this altercation.
I can't speak to an exchange of gunfire whether there was or wasn't one right now.
The Forensic Investigation Unit remained on scene for most of the day, and King Street West remained closed well into the rush hour. Toronto police opening the scene just before 5 o'clock this evening. They said that both investigations are ongoing. Sean Leathong, CTV News.
A man's been rushed to hospital after a stabbing near Dufferin and Eglinton. Police say the incident took place just before 4 near Dufferin and Roselawn Avenue. The victim was rushed to hospital by emergency run. His condition is not known. Investigators say the suspect left the area heading southbound from Roselawn. Police are expected to remain in the area for some time. And Durham police are investigating a stabbing in Oshawa last night. Now, police were investigating a pedestrian struck near Adelaide and Prince Street around 9:15 p.m. when the man approached them. Now, he was assessed at the scene, telling officers he'd been stabbed in the back following an altercation with a group of people. He was taken to a Toronto trauma center with serious injuries. Meanwhile, the pedestrian who'd been struck, an 84-year-old man, was taken to hospital in stable condition. Police say the two incidents are not related, and they're searching for a male suspect in connection with the stabbing.
An investigation is underway after two homes were damaged by gunfire in Scarborough last night. Police were called to the Markham and Ellesmere area around 9 p.m. They found evidence of gunfire, including damage to two homes and a vehicle. No injuries were reported. Police have not released any information about possible suspects at this point. Also tonight, tougher penalties for dangerous drivers. The Ford government tables new legislation in honor of a father of three killed after being hit by a man already facing charges for allegedly being reckless on the road.
Yeah, we have more news in a moment, but first a look at the forecast. Here's a live shot of the city. It is mild, above seasonal, but we're going to be dealing with on and off rain tonight and into tomorrow. And then conditions will change Thursday. There's a look at our satellite radar. There's a lot of rain that is rolling in as we speak, and that condition is going to be pretty much on and off for a couple of days. There is some wind in some areas, not major, but that's going to change tomorrow. We'll give you more details on that a little bit later. Right now we're sitting at 8 degrees in London, 8 in Hamilton, 9 in Niagara Falls. Normal this time of year would be 5. And if you take a look at the current conditions, what's maybe noticeable is tonight we're going to be going up to 7 degrees. So temperature is actually rising in the city, and we're expecting double digits tomorrow. I'll give you a look at the long-range forecast later on in the show.
And still ahead, one of Canada's most...
But first, let's check in with Natalie.
There she is. Yeah, we're going to Natalie first. Apologies. Yeah, Toy Mountain tonight. This is a big night. Tell us where you are tonight, Natalie, and let that mountain continue to grow.
Hey, Nathan and Michelle, that's right. We are celebrating day 2 of CTV's Toy Mountain, and today we are down at the Sherway Gardens Best Buy with this incredible team who has been a partner with the CTV Toy Mountain for 19 years now. I'm joined by Ajay, who is the team leader for this initiative. Ajay, tell me about why this is so important for your team to be involved in this incredible cause.
We've been doing this for 19 years, and it's a great feeling to basically contribute to the communities that we serve on every day. And it's so far in 19 years, was $200,000.
And there were behind us. How do you go about collecting so many goods for kids in the GTA?
So we had an amazing team of 41 stores in Ontario that have all participated, and each store is actually collecting customers, and even staff is donating as well. Just a friendly reminder again, yes, I know today is the presentation, but you have till December 19 to drop off any new or wrapped toys for donations.
Perfect. And Gina, we speak to you to grow. Talk to me about the need this year for Toy Mountain. What are you hoping for? What ages are in particular need of toys this year?
Well, this year, as this is our 30th anniversary for CTV Toy Mountain, it's amazing. And to have partners like AJ here and the Best Buy team, wow, it's truly remarkable. And this place right here is the best place to get toys or gifts for teens. And teens are the ones that we always run short on. So please come down and shop. Electronics are key, and a better place to get them is here at Best Buy.
Excellent. Well, Nathan and Michelle, we are going to be here for the full hour checking in with the team here at Best Buy as we continue to build a mountain of toys. For now, we'll send it back inside to you.
Thank you, Natalie. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you a little bit later. And still ahead, one of Canada's most decorated Olympians unable to compete for 2 years. Swimming sensation Penny Alexiak's suspension and the violations that prompted it. The Ford government tabled a sweeping justice bill at Queen's Park today.
It includes tougher penalties for dangerous drivers, tighter bail rules, and a plan to make some information from the province's sex offender registry public. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris is live tonight with the details. Siobhan.
Well, this bill really is wide-ranging. It's called the Keeping Criminals Behind Bars Act, but it touches on everything from animal testing to rules for the Special Investigations Unit and keeping the roads safe.
Every day is a nightmare.
The pain is still raw for Andrew Cristillo's younger brother, the father of 3 killed in a head-on crash this summer. The driver of the other vehicle was already on police radar for having hit the Premier's SUV back in January. A family's loss exposed a gap in the law.
The individual going over 200 kilometers an hour when he hit forward was back behind the wheel within 30 days. Had that not been the case, maybe my brother would be here today.
We're taking action.
A gap the government's trying to close, making good on a promise to the Cristillo family.
Including a 90-day license suspension and a 7-day vehicle impoundment when police have reasons to believe someone was driving dangerously.
Today, we're done gambling, and we're going to start seeing some real consequences.
The government's considering forcing impaired drivers who kill parents to pay child support, increasing fines for careless driving, and a lifetime ban for those convicted of dangerous driving causing death.
It's a bit rich coming from a government who just removed the ability of municipalities to have speed cameras in place.
This is a wide-ranging bill dubbed the Keeping Criminals Behind Bars Act. It includes making people pay up front for bail. The Canadian Civil Liberties Association says that would create a 2-tier justice system.
Our bail system doesn't work because our jails are crowded. And our jails are crowded because our justice system doesn't work.
Ontario will consult on making public parts of the sex offender registry.
But at the end of the day, we believe that our communities must be safe for everyone.
The Premier has said he's willing to reach for the notwithstanding clause to override the charter if opening up the registry is challenged in court. But the government isn't going there preemptively.
No, we're going to debate it in the legislature. We're going to make sure that we engage our stakeholders.
The Justice Bill also moves to ban what it calls invasive medical research on cats and dogs.
We protect veterinary sciences. We protect that invasive research that has to be done for both animal and human life-saving research, but we make sure that humane treatment is safeguarded.
With a promise to consult on banning medically unnecessary practices for cats and dogs like declawing and ear cropping. Today, the Premier defended speeding bills through the legislature, skipping committee hearings and limiting debate. It's not clear right now if this bill will get that same treatment with a little over 2 weeks left in the legislative session. Reporting live from Queen's Park, I'm Siobhan Morris. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Siobhan. Ontario NDP leader Marit Stiles has asked the province's Integrity Commissioner to investigate the Labour Minister over the Skills Development Fund.
It looks like the minister will not come clean. I have been asking him questions every day for now almost 6 weeks since the legislature came back, and he refuses to answer. In fact, he's kind of throwing around all kinds of excuses. He's blaming everybody and not taking any responsibility. And we will get answers. We will get answers one way or another.
Stiles alleges Labor Minister David Piccini breached ethics laws in connection with the distribution of money from the multi-billion-dollar fund. She claims preferential treatment has been given to some recipients. Piccini's faced calls to resign after Ontario's Auditor General found his office was selecting lower-scoring applicants for funding against the advice of other officials. A spokesperson for Piccini says he'll fully participate in any process initiated by the Integrity Commissioner. Well, the mayor announced the expansion of Toronto's youth employment program.
The city is doubling the number of spots for employment readiness training. CTV's Janice Goulding reports.
Some cheerful faces at the Lamoureux Community Recreation Centre today as the mayor announced the expansion of a youth employment program.
We all remember our first job, not just because of the paycheck, but because of what it gives us: confidence, independence, and a sense of belonging. Today, we're making sure thousands more young people across Toronto get to feel that same sense of possibility.
Building Skills Through Recreation is an existing program that has provided 1,000 young people with free employment readiness training every year. And now the city is going to double the number of spots to support up to 2,000 youth in 2026.
Our focus is neighborhood improvement areas, safety zones, communities that are underserved and equity deserving.
Youth can get free CPR training as well as free certification in one of the following streams: sports, general recreation, as well as aquatics. There are more than 100 certification courses young people between the ages of 15 and 24 can enroll in, as the city says it tries to address barriers to youth hiring.
Join this opportunity of employment. You will certainly love it. You will love it.
Training that can prove invaluable given just how hard it can be to get that first job.
Yeah, I've been looking for jobs, but I can't get in anywhere.
Not a lot of organizations or places accept youth. It's more like the older people. So I think that this opportunity is really good, considering it's also free.
Alumna Nardis McConan says the Building Skills Through Recreation program gave her the skills she needed to get that first job, and she's now working as a youth program coordinator.
Really, when you think about it, there's no disadvantages to going through the program. Regardless of what your outcome is, it's either could be great and you get employment, or you get the skills that will prepare you to eventually get employment.
The city says it currently employs 16,000 young people. Janice Goulding, CTV News.
Still with City Hall, where it is out of the starting gate for one mayoral candidate.
Councillor Brad Bradford unveiling his vision for the city today as he vies for Toronto's top job. CTV's Natalie Johnson has the details.
Promising a back-to-basics plan for local government, mayoral candidate Brad Bradford pitched his vision for Toronto to the Empire Club today.
I want Toronto to be a city that works again, because world-class cities get the basics right every single time.
Basics, he said, like safe streets, parks that are clean and accessible to families, pools that are open in the summer, and streets that are plowed in the winter.
Toronto needs to get back to winning. We need to win again so that we can be the best city in the world to raise a family, to build a business, and to unlock our potential.
Pledging to prioritize safety and affordability and make it easier to get around the city, including instituting a TTC service guarantee.
If your trip is delayed by 15 minutes, you get your money back.
15 minutes late because the subway had a medical emergency and therefore couldn't come. Well, we live in a big city.
Bradford also promising to remove encampments, provide additional police resources in neighborhoods and on transit, cut development charges by 25% to spur housing, coordinate construction, and keep traffic flowing by ensuring lanes are not removed or blocked.
I believe that Toronto can and will win, but it's not with the same failed formulas that got us into this mess.
As the only declared high-profile candidate so far, Bradford vowed to turn the page on political playbooks of the past.
I'm done with the decline. I'm done with the drift. I am here to deliver.
This is really the starter's pistol on the mayor's race for 2026. This is him planting his flag, saying, let's go.
Let's go.
In a race for the mayor's chair that is unofficially underway. Natalie Johnson, CTV News.
A Toronto senior accused of claiming a $1 million lottery jackpot for himself instead of splitting the winnings with a group is now facing charges. CTV's Adrian Gobriel has more on the case that might alarm group lotto players.
The sweet sound of one lotto win may have turned into a $1 million scheme.
Winner, Ganyo.
A joint investigation by the Ontario Provincial Police and the province's Lottery and Gaming Corporation have led to charges that allege that this man, 70-year-old Alex Perucha from Toronto, falsely claimed a $1 million lotto win as his own when he should have split the winnings with two others.
At Lotto Max, you have a 1 in 33 million chance of winning.
In a news release touting the $1 million payday this summer, Perucha is quoted as saying, "I won a free play, so I went to the store to claim it." The next day, he reviewed his numbers and says, "I double-checked my ticket and counted the zeros. When I realized it was a $1 million prize, I was overwhelmed." The winning Lotto Max free play ticket with Encore, purchased here at this Toronto corner store, was claimed on July 2nd, 2025, and was paid out by the OLG.
When you go into the lottery office in Ontario, you're asked specifically, are you a member of a group? And if you say, no, I'm not, and then you sign that form, that's a false statement because it's a sworn statement.
The senior citizen has been charged with theft over $5,000 and fraud over $5,000.
The maximum penalty is 14 years in jail. Pretty serious stuff.
An email from the 70-year-old's lawyer in part states that Mr. Perucha categorically denies all allegations and charges related to the lottery ticket and maintains he has done nothing wrong, going on to claim the dispute involves complex facts that will be addressed through the proper legal process. Though if he's found guilty, his share of the winnings could go up in smoke.
There may be a question about whether he's entitled to any of the money.
If you're purchasing lotto tickets with friends and family, there are group forms that you can use. Mr. Perucha will plead his case in court on January 8th. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
In Alberta, recall petitions have been issued against 5 more members of the United Conservative Party caucus. That brings the total to 14 and means almost 1/3 of UCP members in the legislature are affected by the recall process. It could possibly affect the balance of power. Some of the new petitioners seeking the recalls refer to the government using the notwithstanding clause to end the recent teacher strike. Other complaints accuse the politicians of not advocating for their communities and in some cases not being reachable. The UCP insists the recall system should be saved for serious wrongdoing, not disagreements over government policy. Some ministers say the recalls are the work of an organized group looking to topple the government. In Washington, the White House is projecting optimism on a possible peace deal to end the war between Russia and Ukraine.
But as the talks go on, so does the fighting. With more, here's CTV's Joy Malbin.
Even with peace proposals on the table, Moscow is not letting up. Overnight, hundreds of drones and missiles pounded Ukraine's capital, Kyiv. A massive, deadly attack. Officials rescuing children from an apartment complex. This after talks in Geneva produced a framework for a possible peace deal.
Today, our team reported on the new draft of steps, and this is indeed the right approach. I will discuss sensitive issues with President Trump.
Ukraine's president wants to meet President Donald Trump in the next few days to finalize details of a new 19-point plan, heavily modified from the original proposal that critics called a Russian wish list that had Ukraine handing over territory to Russia, slashing Ukraine's army, and renouncing NATO membership.
We have no compromise on the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine. No compromise on national identity on Ukraine, no compromise on the armed forces of Ukraine as a key security guarantee.
Washington insists these aren't insurmountable details, sending U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll to meet with Russian officials in the United Arab Emirates. But even after that red carpet rollout in Anchorage last summer, Russia's Vladimir Putin has not budged.
President Trump was not able to get anything from Russia. He was not even able to get them to come to a ceasefire, something that Ukraine agreed a while ago. And so while these negotiations happen, Russia continues attacking us.
Donald Trump weighing in, saying tremendous progress has been made, but says he'll only meet with President Zelensky and President Putin when the deal to end this war is final or in its final stages. Joy Melvin, CTV News, Washington. Canadian Olympian Penny Oleksiak has accepted a 2-year suspension for an anti-doping rule violation. The International Testing Agency says the Toronto swimmer is banned from competition after committing 3 whereabouts failures between October of 2024 and June 2025. A whereabouts failure is defined as any combination of 3 missed tests or filing failures in a 12-month period. Oleksiak has said there were inadvertent errors and she has not used banned substances. The suspension ends July 14th of 2027 before the Summer Olympics in Los Angeles in 2028. Oleksiak is Canada's most decorated female Olympian, winning 7 medals and 9 World Championship medals.
Sad news for Canada's sports community. Curling legend and TV personality Colleen Jones has died. A 2-time world champion and 6-time Canadian women's champion, Jones appeared at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts 21 times. She was also a trailblazer in broadcasting, telling Canadian stories for almost 4 decades at the CBC. Her son posted online that Jones battled cancer for 3 years and died looking out on the ocean from her favorite spot in Nova Scotia with her family at her side. Colleen Jones was 65.
An aging Legion Hall in Whitby gets a lifeline. A community comes together to help cover the cost of much-needed repairs. Coming up, the overwhelming show of support for a beloved gathering place.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, do you have any home renovations planned? If you do, choosing a contractor is a big decision. A woman who wanted to build a basement apartment for her son says she was scammed out of $28,000. I'll have that story. That's just ahead.
And rain's the story for tonight and into tomorrow, but temperatures are well above seasonal. Cooler air is on the way for Thursday, and with it, snow. You could get up to 2 centimeters by Friday. If you haven't put on the snow tires yet, you might consider getting the job done before Thursday. We'll give you a look at the long-range forecast after the break. Natalie.
And as we continue to build a mountain of toys for CTV News, we are live this hour at the Sherway Gardens Best Buy. I'm joined here by Ajay, the team leader, who has a very large check to present to us. Ajay, tell us.
So, as I was sharing earlier, that in 19 years we have raised almost $200,000, and I'm happy to share again, this year we will be giving another $10,000 towards the Toy Mountain.
$10,000, incredible. How do you feel when you see a number that big?
It actually feels really good that it will bring joys to a lot of faces, a lot of smiles for this holiday season.
Perfect. And we talk about spreading that holiday cheer among families right across the GTA. Major Rick Zielinski can tell us a little bit more about where all of that money is going. Sir, $10,000 must go a long way.
It does. It's incredible. It's going to make a big difference in the lives of so many families across Ontario. I should be really amazed by this, but Best Buy as a partner always steps up, and they just keep surprising us on day 1 or day 2 of Toy Mountain. This is an incredible surprise. So thank you so much to Best Buy and to our partners. It's wonderful.
Excellent. Well, congratulations. Thank you so much to this team at Best Buy for helping us build a Toy Mountain. We'll be here all hour long. More news coming up on CTV News at 6.
Thank you.
If you're planning to have home renovations done, you know it can be expensive, and you want to hire someone who will get the job done right.
You also want to be careful how you budget for your project, and paying too much in advance could lead to problems. Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Nathan. And Michelle, a Brampton woman wanted to put a basement apartment in her home for her son and also to help her earn income in her retirement. She hired a contractor and signed a contract, but when she paid him in advance, he didn't come back.
There was a deck here.
Doreen Johnson of Brampton had a dream for her home. She wanted to add a walkout basement apartment, a place for her son and his dog to stay. In the future, when she retired, she might also use it to generate rental income.
I cry day and night.
The project was to be completed in April. The contractor ripped off her deck, left a massive hole in her backyard, and a mess behind.
I feel like I've been robbed. I feel stupid. I feel scammed. I feel like, I don't know, how can someone do this to a 64-year-old?
Johnson found the contractor by word of mouth and thought she was protecting herself by signing a contract. But the contract had her paying 10% to book the job, 40% for arrival of equipment, and 40% for arrival of a concrete truck. It meant she paid for 90% of the job before any real work was done. She was scammed out of $28,000.
He plowed through, and when he got to the stage of where the cement truck is to come, then he just didn't come back.
There are definitely things that you want to look for in a contract in terms of, payment schedules and permitting.
The Canadian Home Builders Association says while a contract is important, it should also include a payment schedule that's fair for the contractor and the homeowner. Payments can be made as the project progresses, with some money held back to make sure the customer is satisfied with the outcome. Kevin Lee also suggests getting multiple bids and researching each business carefully.
Don't necessarily go with the cheapest one. Make sure you're looking at what you're getting. Like renovation work is like any other work. You get what you pay for.
I'm here. It looks like quite a mess. The contractor did not return our calls, and Johnson says he now completely ignores her. She holds out hope one day her dream project can be finished.
I want my money back so I can have somebody else do the job. The winter's going to be coming soon, and I do not want things to get worse.
And of all the renovation complaints we get, paying too much in advance is the biggest problem many people face. If you can try to pay for work as it's done, it's one of the best ways to protect yourself from being scammed. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
So this week started off pretty nice, sunshine, mild temperatures, but certainly we are in the middle of a transition. We had that rain today, which isn't so fun, and now a special weather statement.
Yeah, there's a system on the way bringing that rain and more rain, and then it's going to be turning into snow. But on top of that, there's also heavy wind.
Oh, fun.
So there's a whole bunch of things going on weather-wise. And Environment Canada just issued a watch and a warning, and I'll just show you that right now as we look at some of our graphics here. But the concern is a few things. Just north of us, it's like a line of it. There's a snow squall. And then on top of that, just below, like the orange area, that's the wind warning. So they're thinking that beginning Wednesday and ending Thursday night or Friday morning, strong winds between 70 and 80 kilometers per hour. And there could be possible power outages in some areas. And also in that windy area, they're saying that, you could be in your car. You might feel the car being pushed a little bit. Loose objects might be tossed by the wind. So bear in mind, you've got these watches and warnings going on. Right now, the conditions are pretty good, above seasonal, 7 in Toronto, 7 in Trenton, 7 in Wyerton. A bit cooler as you go north of the city, but we are above seasonal. The lows above what we would expect this time of year as well. -2 is normal. For us in Toronto, we're going to be 7 overnight. So at least we've got mild weather with that rain. Tomorrow morning, heading to work, there could be some drizzle, or heading to school, and that will, turn into maybe stronger showers later on in the day. For tomorrow, the high 11 degrees. So yes, we're dealing with some rain and eventually some wind, but at least we can say we're going to be above seasonal. Those are just a look at the bands of rain that is coming in, and eventually those bands of rain are going to turn to snow, and we could get up to a centimeter, maybe a little bit more in Toronto. And if you look even further north in some areas or further west, like double-digit territory with snow. So that is a concern for sure for Friday. We'll see how much we get. Looking at the long-range forecast for tomorrow, a high of 11 degrees with some showers. Cooler temperatures coming in for Thursday, a high of 2 with a chance of some showers as well, mixing with flurries. And then we could see some snow on Friday, the high +1. For the weekend, again, cooler temperatures. Sunday, a possibility of flurries returning. And then Monday and Tuesday, cool, but at least we'll get some sunshine. So, again, temperatures dipping over the next few days, stabilizing at that low temperature, but at least we'll get some sunshine next week as the month winds down. We'll give you a recap of the forecast later on in the show.
Now, while the weather outside is a tad frightful, the vibe inside Best Buy is delightful. It's time for another check on Toy Mountain. Our Natalie Johnston filling in for Lindsay Morrison tonight. You're in Etobicoke at Sherway Gardens. Best Buy, longtime partner. They always deliver, Natalie.
Yeah, Michelle, it is so inspiring to see what the team here has accomplished. There is a mountain of toys right here behind us in this store. And I am joined right now by Brian and Tina, who represent the Salvation Army Church on Lakeshore, just a few minutes from here in Etobicoke. Brian, let's start with you. Can you speak to your role, the church's role in distributing this mountain of toys? Who will they all go to?
Well, our role is to receive applications from families in the South Etobicoke area who are interested in finding toys for their children, and so we match the toys up with the families who are in need, and it's a wonderful position to be in because we see the wonderful donors, we get to meet them, and we get to see the faces on the parents and the children when they receive the toys, and so we have the best job in the world, I think, at Christmas time. It's wonderful to be in our position.
Absolutely. Can you speak to the need this year? Have you noticed a change over the past few years?
Yeah, it's a great need here in South Etobicoke. There's a lot of people struggling throughout the year with mortgage payments, the cost of living and food, and then when you get to Christmas, if you have no money to give a toy to your child, it makes it really difficult, life difficult, and so but conversely by providing a toy, it makes all that pain go away for a short time, and so it's a great way of really administering or supporting families here in the South Etobicoke and giving them some breathing room, and give them a little bit of help at Christmas time and putting smiles on the faces of not just the children, but the families.
Absolutely. Tina, can you speak to how families can become connected with Toy Mountain if they are in search of gifts for their children?
Yes, absolutely. We do have a registration process. We've been doing registration for the month of November now. So if anyone does need to register your child for Christmas, you just call our office and we will set you up with a registration date, time, and then they will come back in December and pick up their toys.
And how are families reacting when they are matched with toys that become gifts under the tree for their kids?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. We allow the parents to shop for their own toys. We don't give them the toys. They pick up the toys that they believe will suit their children. So it's quite exciting for them to be able to go through our building and pick up the toys for their children, knowing that their children, it's going to put a smile on their faces for Christmas morning.
So wonderful. Thank you so much. A terrific community effort here in South Etobicoke. For now, we will throw it back to you. There is more news after the break on CTV News at 6.
A 2022 StatsCan report showed 1 in 5 young people aged 15 to 24 identified as having a disability.
And they often face complex levels of discrimination. Our health reporter Colleen Jones has more on a new initiative to help them.
It was a brain infection that left Hannah Boama with permanent cognitive and physical damage when she was just 17.
Damaged the right side of my brain, which caused the left side of my body to be paralyzed.
Over the past 8 years, she made remarkable progress, even working at her master's now at U of T. But she says that progress has also led to discrimination, especially by those who don't know her story.
For some reason, people don't believe me when I tell them I have a disability. It's very invisible to them, even though there's moments where my limp very much shows. So a lot of the discrimination I have is when I'm needing support, I get turned away, even if I'm like crying.
And she says being Black, being female, and being young contributes to the discrimination she's had to deal with. That's why she hopes a new anti-discrimination resource hub developed by Holland Bloorview will help support young people like herself.
We asked them about their experiences and they told us this is what they needed.
Sally Lindsay says it's meant for people aged 15 to 24, as well as parents and others.
It'll direct you to the basics of what is discrimination and ableism and inclusion. And so then it's subdivided by resources for youth and families, or for if you're a service provider or educator.
Bring as many voices as possible and resources as possible to support people out there who didn't know that there is actually help to support people like them.
The new hub is launching this week as part of the 20th annual Bloorview Research Institute Symposium. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Members of a local legion were saying thanks today to the community members who stepped up to help when their building began to fall apart.
CTV's Beth McDonnell has more from Whitby.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart, everyone that helped get us to here today.
Inside the Whitby Legion, President Bobby Simmons holds a ceremony thanking people who stepped up with donations. 2 months ago, the plaster ceiling collapsed while young air cadets were holding a practice.
I cried because I didn't know what was happening.
No one was hurt, but the damage was significant. And with the Legion closed, it's been losing revenue.
We suffer all the time we're here to make money to survive in our Legion. And the thing is, there's a lot of us, like my members and the Ladies Auxiliary and my executive, we're all here to hold on to this Legion for the veterans. You got to hold on so that those veterans can have somewhere to come, somewhere to, talk to friends. And without a building here, where do our veterans go?
Insurance is covering the ceiling rehabilitation, but there are also other serious issues with the building, including this wall that needs repair, which could cost up to $100,000. Since a member's GoFundMe page has brought in more than $5,000, Whitby Mayor Elizabeth Roy helped organize an event at Town Brewery that raised $6,000. She's been doing research on nearly 400 of Ontario's aging Legions and is working on a plan so Legions can access provincial and federal grants.
Look at how the population that is within our Legions is becoming smaller. That revenue inside is not reaching to be able to give the support.
The Whitby Girls Hockey Association donated $1,500 for repairs here.
It was overwhelming a little bit, and it was very emotional. I was thrilled to be a part of it.
Very heartwarming for sure. So nice to see that, the space is going to be saved.
Simmons says she wants everyone to know how appreciative she is for the funds.
It was just amazing. It's something that showed that people out there really do care.
Simmons says around another $30,000 is needed to complete the repairs. Beth McDonnell, CTV News. Well, it is day 2 of Toy Mountain, and tonight we are building a mountain of toys with the incredible team at the Sherway Gardens Best Buy. Let's take a closer look here at the gifts that will go under the tree for kids in need this holiday season. We will be live on location for the next few weeks as we build a mountain of toys across the GTA. Tomorrow night you can find us at Legoland in Vaughan, and you can check out toymountain.ca and click Toronto to see where we will be for the next few weeks. We will be back with more right after this short break.
A Canadian company that owns convenience stores around the world says its food business is booming. And Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has more.
Couche-Tard, owner of stores like Circle K, says it still plans to open 500 new stores by 2028. It already owns more than 17,000 convenience stores around the world. In its latest quarter, Couche-Tard reported profits rose 4.5% year over year to more than $740 million US. Meal deal sales help push profits up. Best Buy expects to have a strong year-end with Black Friday and Christmas driving sales. The company's CEO says consumers remain resilient and are still spending, but cautiously. In its most recent quarter, Best Buy reported higher sales of computers and phones. While Best Buy may be optimistic about year-end spending, Americans are showing less confidence in the economy. The Conference Board says its consumer confidence index dropped to 88.7 in November, the lowest it's been since April. Consumers say prices, inflation, tariffs, and trade all factor in. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down a fraction to 70.92. West Texas Intermediate crude is down to 57.95. Western Canadian Select is up to 46.17. And the TSX gained almost 300 points today, ending the day at a record high of 30,900. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
The surging Toronto Raptors are off tonight after winning their 8th straight game.
They've won 11 of 12. Scotty muscling his way in. 7-0 run by Toronto.
Toronto beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 110-99 last night. Next up is the 2-15, make that, Indiana Pacers at Scotiabank Arena tomorrow night. Toronto's current winning streak is their longest since 2022. They are currently second in the Eastern Conference.
The Toronto Maple Leafs sit last in the NHL's Eastern Conference and have lost 7 of their last 8 games. But after practice today, the coach urged a glass-half-full approach with the team on a lengthy road trip.
It is one game at a time because you always need to just focus on the game in hand and what you're doing. But this trip could put us in a real good spot, in my opinion, from where we're at right now. So that's the importance, and it's good that we're getting on the road and being together as a group.
We're just trying to stay and play how we know, right? And you know, sometimes we can get away from structure or different things, and what's important to us is sticking to that process.
The recipe's the same for all of us D-men, is when we're skating and we're engaged and we're physical, and you know, we're stopping plays in their D zone and moving that puck up ice and getting up ice ourselves. You know, the rest of our game kind of follows.
Austin Matthews practiced today, and the coach said he looked good. But Craig Berube says he will have to see about whether the captain plays tomorrow against Columbus. Matthew Nyes and Nicholas Roy were also on the ice today. Their status for Wednesday's game is also uncertain.
The Coaches Association of Ontario released its report for 2025.
The document is offering a look at the culture of sports and coaching leadership across the province. CTV's Rahim Ladani has those details.
The Hockey Hall of Fame is a showcase of excellence, which young athletes dream of achieving. But what isn't encapsulated here are often the disturbing realities shaping their lives well before they reach this level.
Before practice, they locked the door behind me and they held me down and stripped me naked.
Sharing personal stories, athletes, parents, coaches, and researchers are shedding light on the troubling state of sport culture. The latest report released by the Coaches Association of Ontario finds hazing continues to be a widespread problem. It concludes 1 in 7 athletes experience hazing between the ages of 6 to 9. That grows to 1 in 2 athletes by the time they're 19 to 24 years old.
Organizations, what are we going to do? What is our plan when a team is caught hazing? So having those sanctions in place, having a program in place and how to deal with it.
The report also found that athletes trust their coach the most outside of their parents. But there's a gap in how often coaches intervene to stop hazing. Furthermore, coaches overestimate how well they communicate with their athletes.
As a community coach myself, I have found the reports very helpful as I reflect on my own values and behaviors. I found myself thinking critically about how to stay true to those values in times of high pressure and intensity in the playing field.
Another key finding is the role of parents, often putting pressure on performance instead of participation.
Maybe even just ask them, like, could you give me a color to describe your emotion? 1 out of 10. Could you use an emoji to describe how you're doing? And then invite that conversation to really ask, how are you doing?
A pathway toward protecting positive sport culture in Ontario. Rahim Ladani, CTV News.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
The names for 2 new Komodo dragons at the Toronto Zoo have been chosen. The 2 siblings will now be called Raya and Como. The names were selected after more than 10,000 votes were cast online. The zoo says Raya has already been introduced into her new habitat. However, Como is set to remain in the zoo's Wildlife and Health Center for some time before eventually being rotated into the habitat.
An annual Thanksgiving tradition at the White House took place today for a very lucky bird.
Gobble, I just want to tell you this, very important. You are hereby unconditionally pardoned.
Oh, sounds like he likes it. U.S. President Donald Trump spared this turkey from the dinner table. 2 turkeys are pardoned every year, but only one of them is chosen to participate in the ceremony. Gobble and Waddle will now return to North Carolina to live at the State University.
All right, we're going to give you one last look at the forecast, and we'll show you some of the satellite radar that we've got. You can see that we've got rain that's coming in. It's moving out, but it's going to be off and on for tomorrow and into Thursday. We are above seasonal right now. We're sitting at 7 degrees, 6 in Hamilton, and temperatures are still going to rise maybe slightly a little bit later tonight as we get into our double-digit high for tomorrow. But The concern will be mainly the rain and also the wind, and Environment Canada is warning that you might want to batten down the hatches. There could be some power outages in some areas as well. For Thursday, we're talking about a cool down. We could deal with some snow Thursday and Friday. And then the weekend, things are cooler as well as we wind down the month of November. So the story is that cool down coming up, but then at least for the beginning of December, we're talking sunshine. Let's go back to Natalie one more time with a check-in on that Toy Mountain. Hey, Natalie.
Hey, Nathan, we've had such a terrific night here at the Best Buy at Sherway Gardens. This huge amount of toys for children in need in our community, and of course that $10,000 check. I do want to check in one last time with Gina before we go. We were talking earlier, Gina, about how a toy brings a smile to the face of a child, but there's also so much relief for the parents.
Absolutely. We look at this campaign as more than a toy. Families come to the Salvation Army. It gives us an opportunity to share with them, to understand what other needs they have, and then to give them the supports they need. So this is more than a toy. The viewers out there have to know that. It's so important.
And for every toy the parents don't have to buy, they can put that money toward rent, groceries, the cost of living. As you say, the need has been very great this year.
Absolutely. And you know what? Impossible choices are what people are making every single day. Those that are struggling, they don't need to struggle alone. That's why the Salvation Army is here.
Well, we commend you for the tremendous work that you've been doing along with the team at Best Buy. Let's take one last look at this big giant check, $10,000 toward the mountain of toys as you all continue to build a toy mountain. Back to you, Michelle and Nathan.
That's a nice big check. Thank you, Best Buy. Thank you, Salvation Army. Thank you, Natalie. And that is it for us, but be sure to join Heather Butts tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zarada Allman with your next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For all of us here at CTV News, thanks for watching and have a great night.